What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the happiest hour on earth. We're back. Thanks for bearing with us. Last week we took some time off from Halloween and my birthday fell that same week, so it was kind of a busy time. So we decided to just push the episode out till this week. So thanks for bearing with us. So we're kind of in this like in-between time right now. Halloween's behind us. Christmas is ahead of us. But we're like in mid-November, so it seems a little early to start talking about all the Christmas stuff. Not too early. That's coming soon. Yeah. I'm ready for it.
We're delaying a little longer than Disneyland did. I know, both Disney parks, like the day that Halloween
on
ends,
Halloween.
it's like, they do it all in one day.
It was Christmas time already. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll have some great Christmas episodes coming up soon. But we're in this phase right now where we're just kind of picking some topics that we've wanted to talk about for a while. So tonight we're going to be talking about the magic that is Disney music. We've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and there's just so much to cover, from the movies to the parks to all of it. It's just, there's so much. So we're really excited to chat about this. So let's get started.
So even though we aren't talking about holiday and Christmas stuff for this episode, we did want to make a Christmas drink that we saw. So Disneyland posted a whole bunch of like Disney snacks and Disney drinks that will be for the holidays. And we saw one that we love Moscow mules, right? But they had one called the Holiday Mule.
We know this looks exactly like the drink that we just made on the last episode, but it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Same color, but...
Hey, Christmas is very red, and poison apples are very red,
just so happened to fall 2 weeks apart.
Yeah, 2 weeks apart, and so this one, oh my gosh, it literally just says 3 ingredients. It's like peppermint schnapps, okay,
that's
off to an interesting
base.
start. That's the only alcohol. Yeah, and then cranberry juice and ginger beer. So seems super, super weird, but we got a couple of requests to make this, and we thought, you know what, why not? Let's make a drink. And so we're actually filming this a couple days before you could get these drinks in the park. But the day that this episode comes out, which will be on the 12th, I guess on Disney Plus Day, which we have a really fun, exciting Disney Plus topic next week, but these drinks will be out. So if you find yourself in the park and there is this drink, let us know how it is in person, because we're going to give you our thoughts on these right now.
We're kind of interested to know how it's going to be, because it's just like kind of a random collection of drinks in one. So
yeah. All right. I'm so scared. Let's try it. Cheers. It's better than I thought.
It's not quite as sweet as I was thinking it was going to be. It's good.
Okay, I actually like that.
Definitely not heavy on the alcohol. It's kind of just like refreshing and pepperminty.
Yeah, which is weird. Peppermint and juice just does not sound great, but it actually kind of blends with it. And
it's not too bad.
Yeah, we didn't know like the ratios and stuff. I kind of based it off of a regular Moscow Mule, but that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be terrible.
Like, I don't think you're gonna be drinking this to get like heavily buzzed off of. Like, it's kind of just something to sip on. That's kind of like in the holiday spirit, but it's good.
Hey, I like it. Okay, you surprised me.
Let us know how it is in the parks, guys.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so should we jump into this topic?
Yeah, let's get started here.
Disney music is just so important. To Disney, everything, to Disney culture, to Disney, magic. It is, I think, such a big driving factor of why people feel nostalgic and why people feel moved and their emotions just flare up. Is because of the music. I mean, obviously the stories are so great, but when they're backed by these incredible, the incredible music, it really does something to your soul. And so,
it's true.
And so where did this Disney music start? Well,
give us some history here.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I wanted to talk a little bit about Disney music in the movies first. A lot of the classics, they had different composers that kind of went back and forth, but there's really a couple eras in Disney music, some composers that really stick with the Disney community. And for one was the Sherman Brothers. Richard and Robert Sherman, and they did a lot of movies. They did Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, Aristocats, Winnie the Pooh. For non-animated movies, they did, I think, probably what I would say is their best work, which is Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins music just does something to me, and it's such a classic, and it will forever be, I don't know,
legendary because of the music.
Yeah,
I mean the whole the entire movie is just like oozing with hits.
Yeah,
I mean, so many songs in that movie are just like you just want to cry when you hear them. I feel like it's just like childhood, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. And the one thing that made me appreciate just the whole development and just the movie in general as a whole more is Saving Mr. Banks. That movie, we both love it so much. But yeah, and seeing Richard and Robert Sherman in that is just so cool. Just kind of seeing their personalities and how they came up with the songs, especially when P.L. Travers didn't want there to be music at all. So crazy.
Yeah, really, really crazy. That's a great movie.
It is. So yeah, they made a lot less than for some reason I thought I remembered them making a lot more, but they also did a lot of music in the park. So they did like It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, Tiki Room, and a few others. So yeah, a lot of Disney history with the Sherman Brothers. And then another one, Disney kind of fell off of musicals for a little bit in between the Sherman Brothers and Alan Menken, who did, I mean, our childhood, and I'm sure a lot of your childhood as well. Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. So Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. Howard Ashman did the lyrics, and Alan did the music, and they together did, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, Tangled, and so many hits. The list goes on. Really, when you hear those songs, you just think Disney. You think of a time when you're a kid, and
it really when it just resonated
with you. Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I think certain songs just stand out in my mind that I'm like, oh man, it just like it makes your heart flutter. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
like Little Mermaid songs, like Part of Your World, and. Yeah.
Which originally they wanted to cut, like the studio wanted to cut Part of Your World, which is crazy. And such a classic, but
many classics.
So good. And it's like, how can so much creative genius come from one or two guys, and they created so many Disney hits. So beautiful,
so good.
And then in between some of that era, you did have like Elton John doing Lion King, Phil Collins doing Tarzan and Brother Bear. And Randy Newman, who everyone loves from like a lot of Pixar movies, he did Princess and the Frog, and so I love that music as well. So so fun.
Yeah, and Pixar as well. While we're on that topic, I mean, kind of semi-Disney as well, and just so many songs, and even just like movie scores. The scores,
Finding Nemo, I think.
Finding Nemo.
Oh my gosh.
Even Bugs Life. I'm a huge Bugs Life fan. I love that one
as well. Yeah, so good.
So many.
The Bugs Life suite.
Toy Story.
So good. Yeah, so Toy Story. I love the Finding Nemo ones. Thomas Newman, I think.
I was gonna say it's Randy and Thomas, and they're not even related.
They're not even related. Yeah, and they're both
so weird.
So. But yeah, Pixar has some amazing scores as well. And then you get Coco, Pixar, and that has like incredible like actual songs as well. So much. And Disney again like had some periods where they didn't do music, but now it's coming back. We got Moana. We have Encanto, something that comes out this year. Lin-Manuel Miranda did both of those movies, so I'm excited to hear Encanto because Moana was amazing. The music in Moana just like is so perfect. I love it.
I love it so much.
Yeah,
I've listened to that soundtrack so many times.
I know. It honestly
so stinking good.
Just hit after hit.
Yeah,
and it really just makes you feel those Polynesian vibes. Yeah, it's so great. And then Lynn and Alan are working together to do the Little Mermaid live action. So I kind of feel like Lynn, in a way, is kind of like being raised, kind of groomed by Alan and maybe Disney. I might be totally wrong about this, but it feels like Lin is having a big part in Disney, and I would be fine if he kind of becomes that next generation of Disney music movies.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of a master of music, so
he is. Yeah,
seems like it's kind of natural.
Hamilton and the Heights, amazing. So love it. So yeah, there's a lot more history behind the Disney music in movies. I mean, when you go back and listen to soundtracks that even these people didn't, write, but just Peter Pan always like moved me. Cinderella,
from the
Sleeping Beauty,
even before the like names that we know of in Disney music, they were still just.
I know, so good.
Getting your heartstrings with those songs. Like, they will forever live on.
Especially because, like, those old classic Disney movies, I feel like they always had this, like, that beginning title sequence of, like, a whole choir of people just doing this very moving song while the credits rolled. And that is so nostalgic. Much. I know, I wish we could bring back the credits at the beginning of the movie. Like, I wouldn't be bummed about that.
It's so fun.
Like, nowadays, like, people just want to get right to the movie, but hearing that like opening, what's it called? Like the opening,
I don't know what it's called, but I know
like the overture. Yeah. The overture as the credits are going and just hearing a little bits and pieces. You know what movie did do that recently? What? Mary Poppins Returns. They did an overture and they did
because they were trying to kind of make it similar to the original Mary Poppins in that way, probably. And it did make me feel that same kind of like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Also, on the topic of all of these wonderful Disney composers, if you haven't watched some of the Disney Plus documentary type shows on Disney Plus, there's some really good ones that we've watched in the past. There's The Brothers, which is about the Sherman brothers. I had no idea
so sad
that those two did not get along at all. Like, they solely worked together to make music, but they fought and did not even have like a close relationship.
Yeah. If you didn't know about this, I'm sorry.
Sorry to break your heart if you didn't know this, but yeah, if you watch that documentary, it'll open your eyes to their real relationship. It was really, really sad.
It's amazing, but it's also really sad.
Yeah, it's a beautiful documentary, and it's really interesting to hear all of their stories from back in those days when they had started. There was a lot that they did even aside from Disney together, and I think they probably like used to work better together, and then they just grew up and got a little bit more tense. But anyways, great documentary. And then there's also one called Howard, which is about Howard Ashman, who worked with Alan Menken.
And that's really cool to see their story because they started working together. I know they worked together on Little Shop of Horrors, which was Horrors. Want to clarify that? They worked together on that, the Broadway play, and that Broadway, they might have worked together before that, but that Broadway really like solidified them as a team, I believe. And then Disney was like, okay, we need to pick them up for one of our movies. And then that first one, the first Disney movie that they made together was Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And just, I mean,
what a way to start.
Yeah, right? And they
so perfect.
Never slowed down, just foot on the gas, just boom.
So good. They killed it.
I know.
So that's a great documentary as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. I think that might be it for music.
Yeah. Oh, also another quick thing too. If you want something really, really fun and like magical and heartwarming and just incredible, search Alan Menken, and I think just like Alan Menken One Take Disney, or like Alan Menken playing his whole like Disney playlist or whatever, and he just sits down at a piano and just plays like song after song after song.
So many songs, and sings them and plays on the piano. He just flows from one into the other. It's like he has it all just like in his head, ready to go at any moment. It is the coolest video ever.
Yeah, and when he like he does one and then he goes into like Go the Distance, and it's like, oh my gosh, like how are you so amazing? Like how did you make
I don't know
this?
how he is so good at what he does.
Yeah, you have to see that video. It's so magical and so perfect.
It's so great.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But really, the Disney movie music was really kind of a foundation to just like pull heartstrings and really kind of have that magic. But then there's also a lot of music in the parks too.
Which I think, since you mentioned that, I think they probably realized, like Disney realized how much of an impact the music had on people through the movies. And realized like, okay, we need to make this integral to the park as well, you know?
And it totally
And I don't really know how it was like back when the park started. I don't know
did they
how
have
much
speakers did they have the technology to put speakers like everywhere? Probably wasn't
like that. I'm assuming that was kind of something that came later. Because it would have
music
had
in the
to.
rides, right?
Yeah.
But all surrounding the park, I'm not really sure.
But now you go to the park and like the music is literally everywhere. I mean, from the moment you walk into the Esplanade, even like before that, just walking like towards the security area, like from the beginning,
they're priming you.
They have the music going already, and it's like, you know, we've talked about this, he and I. It's not even like Disney movie music that you're hearing. It's like all from within the park. It's either like shows or from the rides that
in the Esplanade.
That you're hearing like before you enter. Is generally stuff that you just hear in the park. You know.
Oh, it's
so
great.
I mean, there's so many songs that we just know and love from the shows. Like to start, obviously we have like Fantasmic. That one's always going to be a favorite for me because on my first trip back, you know, from after I was a little kid and I didn't go for a long time, hearing Fantasmic and seeing the show just like is a core memory for me.
I love
using
that.
Some Inside Out references here.
Do you have a whole Disney Island?
Oh, for sure. I definitely do. But because of that, Fantasmic is always going to be really special to me. And I love the song from it. And I always will. So that one, World of Color, same thing. Fireworks shows. So many of the fireworks shows.
Dreams Come True. Happily Ever After. Oh, Mickey and the Magical Map. I love that. And we are Disneyland people, so we haven't seen all the shows over in Disney World, but we know a lot of Disneyland ones. But what I love is that they have a original theme, but then they do like sequences from the movies. So that's one place where you do hear the movie music. Because walking in the parks, you don't really hear it as much. But within the shows, you have that original song that will carry out throughout the entire performance. But it'll have snippets of the songs that you love and, you know, you just are connected with. And that's one thing that we, you know, with Enchantment was weird for us just because they had those songs, but it was different voices and different arrangements that the first time we heard it and the second time we heard it, we were like, oh, this is interesting because I kind of want to hear those original voices. Just to kind of feel that connection. Kind of threw me off. If I saw it in person, maybe I would think different. But I still do like the theme of that. Not as good as Happily Ever After, but
I love the idea of like movie scenes and songs being in shows. Like in World of Color and, you know, some of the other shows that there are. But it was just something about that one in particular that it just didn't seem fitting because that show was made for the 50th anniversary of the park. It just seemed so weird to me that the fireworks show chosen for that had nothing about the park, you know?
I think we were spoiled with Remember Dreams Come True because that was one show that really broke from that, like adding movie music in. The music was all from like the parks and the rides and celebrating the actual park. So Enchantment, it was kind of like, oh, there's nothing really to... Like even the song, it was like, oh, we are the magic, or you are the magic, or something like that. But it wasn't about like, I feel like there wasn't any, you know, well, there wasn't Julie Andrews being like 50 years ago, you know, all that stuff. But it would have been cool to have like some sort of dialogue about like on this day, like 50 years ago, you know, something like that.
Anything, even if it was just like in the beginning. Just to kind of like start it out, it would have been something, you know, there should have been some celebration of Magic Kingdom.
I agree.
Anyways, we're totally veering off topic here, but music is a big deal in Disney. I think we all know that. If any of us here are Disney fans, which we all are, then we probably love Disney music. I mean, I don't know of really any better way for me to feel connection to the parks or the movies than just like putting on Disney music.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many playlists on Spotify and stuff that I put on all the time with all my favorite songs.
Yeah. And some are Disney movie music, but then some are like park music, which I think is really fun to listen to sometimes because
it puts you there.
That's what I love about each land is that their goal is not to be like, hey, remember this song from Little Mermaid or whatever? Mm-hmm. It's all about like fitting the vibe so that you feel so immersed into each land. So like when you walk down Main Street and hearing that like old ragtime stuff, and then sometimes they'll do like there's Up that will be in that loop sometimes because it fits there, right? Sometimes if a song fits, they'll do that. But I just love the way that whenever you make that transition from one land to the next, it's so seamless. You all of a sudden, you don't like, oh, the music is gone, and then now it's something else. It's like, oh my gosh,
suddenly
like I'm just transported
I'm hearing like jungle music now that I'm in Adventureland. Like you don't think about it when it happens, but they pay so much attention to the details of the music and what you're hearing where.
Yeah, and I think they probably saw that first with the movies, right? Like I think what we were talking about, I don't think it was that way with the lands at the beginning of the park. Maybe it was, but I just don't think that they had the ability to do that. I don't think
they would have technologically been able to. So I don't know when that kind of became more of a thing, having music just be surrounding you. But I'm so glad that it happened.
Yeah, they probably knew. They probably like... Well, I mean, and probably at the same time, they're like, how do we make this as immersive as possible? And they knew that music really moves people. I mean, there's so much... there's something so special about music, especially Disney music. So they were probably like, hey, like if we want to make a very happy and magical experience, we need to fully immerse everyone and make them feel like they're in that land. And so they do a perfect job of that. And I just like major props to Disney for choosing to do that. And they also touch on other senses too. Like they'll do smell and they'll do obviously sight and feel and all that stuff. But it's just it's so great. And I think Disney does it so well.
They do. I mean, no one can really compete with that in terms of other theme parks. You know, I don't know of any other park that has like a song that you would hear that would just make you think like, oh, this reminds me of Disneyland. You know?
Yeah.
That's Disney is in a class all its own on the music front, you know?
Yeah, totally agree. But on that note about music in the parks, one thing that I really hope will come back, and we might see it a little bit in certain areas. I think maybe Disney World has some maybe. But one thing that I think was so special to me, and I know to you and to a lot of Disney fans, but seeing live performers in the parks is just so special. That's one of the reasons why I love New Orleans Square so much. Seeing that like standing, well, there was a band, you know, at the restaurant there with the beignets that I always get the French Market and the Market House, right?
Yeah. I think it is the two of them.
I just always know where to go. I never am like, okay, the name. But but there's that band where you could sit down and you could watch them on the stage. But then there's also like a walk around band that they'll just provide that ambiance. And then the pirate band. Yeah, the pirate band. And,
right there.
And it just makes you feel, oh my gosh, I'm just walking through like a specific time period where this kind of, you know, used to happen, or a specific place where this happens. But even in California Adventure, there was a band, a Pixar band, and they were just playing Pixar music and the scores and everything. And it was so magical and so amazing. But
so good.
Live entertainers, it might see, and then Buena Vista Street, seeing them on the car and playing that old like ragtimey music or swing or whatever.
Jazz kind of.
Seeing that as you're just walking down the street adds that. It's already amazing having the music in the back, but
to watch it live is like a whole other thing.
Man, it just does something to your day. And so that's something that definitely needs to come back once they work out the whole, you know, COVID regulations and all that stuff. I don't care if there's budgetary issues or someone wants to thin down some of the costs. I don't care about the costs. Give those people a job back because really they are incredible. They are so good.
They're integral.
Yeah.
I mean, they add so much to those places, and just feeling like you're immersed in that.
Yeah.
They add so much to that. It's crazy.
It's so perfect. So we
really hope that comes back soon.
Yeah. And and on live performers too. The Broadway shows, or just any shows that feature live audiences.
Oh my gosh, something I would love to see one day is the Pixar Orchestra.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
I've heard that
Pixar
is so
in concert
amazing.
Or something like that. Yeah.
And I think that they have either they
play it on the background,
or just like pictures. I don't really know what it is, but oh my gosh, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
If that ever comes here, we're getting tickets.
We have to go. Yeah, that is so amazing. So great. So we covered movies, we covered parks. Do we want to close off with just like a few of our favorites? I kind of have a list here of like what, certain people did, but do you have any songs that are like really stand out that just like really make you feel the Disney spirit?
Yes. Movie wise, there's so much. Obviously, you can pick from any era, anytime, but Peter Pan's always my favorite movie. So Second Star to the Right is always a favorite. Definitely makes me feel the magic.
And that has that choir all singing together.
Love it so much. Another one for me, up there high on the favorites, is Go the Distance from Hercules.
Yes.
I'm not even like the hugest Hercules fan in terms of movies. It's good, but it's just not like a favorite. But that song does something to me.
Oh yeah.
I never realized up until like a couple years ago, and then it's just become like a favorite song of mine. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's probably one of
so emotional
best. Yeah, and he has like amazing songs. So that's really tough to say, but I think it honestly is. It's perfect. It's so
and then
good.
I love anything from Tarzan, which I know that's Phil Collins.
Yeah,
but
Tarzan. Phil Collins went so hard.
Yeah,
and people joke about it. But they joke
good.
about it in like a way that's like, he literally
made every song be incredible. Pretty much any song from that. Like I love Son of Man so much. Two Worlds, and obviously You'll Be in My Heart.
Yeah,
those are all favorites.
So good.
And I could go on and on. The list literally never ends.
What was the Pocahontas deleted song?
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I just saw Pocahontas there. Oh yeah, I guess it is a deleted scene. It's not even like from the movie, but it's called If I Never Knew You. If you haven't heard that song, look it up. It's so beautiful. It's like between John Smith and Pocahontas. And it is the most beautiful song. I love it. It makes me want to cry every time I hear it. And overall, just like the score for Pocahontas, it's included in that, even though it's like not in the movie.
Yeah.
That whole score is just so good. So good.
Yeah.
That's it for me. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of standouts, right? Like you think of songs from Aladdin. You think of songs from Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. Like everything is just so great. From each different era too. Like there's different styles of songs that you love for one reason or another, and then like other songs from like a newer era that are different but also amazing. Score wise, I love the Lion King score. So amazing and so beautiful. Also the song's so amazing in there. I have to like I said, Hercules, so good. Underrated song, I would say Out There, Hunchback. Oh yeah. I don't even know if it's underrated, but I never really listened to it too much, but Out There is so beautiful. Pocahontas, Just Around the River Bend, so amazing. Honestly, there's so many to list off that I can't even. I have to see a huge list. Yeah. Some other ones that we don't even have on here because it was just one-off music people about Mulan. The music in Mulan is great too. Yeah. But honestly, Moana, like we said. Yeah, Moana. Incredible. Tangled has some great songs. I love Beauty and the Beast. Even that like song. From like the Broadway. Evermore. That was in the live action. Yeah. So good. You just can't do wrong with Disney music, and I just I just love them so much.
It's seriously the best.
And I love like good just like background music, and it just makes me feel happy. Princess and the Frog.
Oh yeah.
That music is it reminds me of being in New Orleans Square. So but then all the old classic ones too. Like you cannot beat them.
Yeah.
Cinderella.
I know, like When You Wish Upon a Star.
Oh my god! Okay, I think that is probably
that's
quintessential, yeah,
Disney song.
Disney song. That is.
It's the best.
That's Disney wrapped up in one song.
Exactly.
So yeah, okay, good. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I had it in my mind, and then like I moved on, but that one was in there too.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the top.
Oh,
there's so many. I mean, the list could go on and on. It's hard to even narrow it down. Because there's so many movies, they all have amazing songs, and they're all from different eras. So they're different, but all so good for their own reasons.
Seriously, and I mean, I think we had to do an episode where we just took time to celebrate the music of Disney because
it deserves
think about some of your favorite scenes, right, from the Disney movies. If there wasn't that beautiful score and that beautiful the lyrics and the music and all that stuff, that could have easily changed that connection that you feel to that scene or to that movie.
Exactly.
And Disney knew how important it was to have the best songwriters on, to immerse yourself in music in the parks.
Those moments.
And to reconnect you, like with the nighttime shows, to those songs and to your childhood and all that stuff. So.
I mean, I think about specifically because I think everyone knows by now that Toy Story 3 like makes me cry like nobody's business. Yeah. Like no other movie probably ever will. And in World of Color, the original one, right? I think it was in the original.
It was either.
I can't think.
I don't know.
It might have been in the second World of Color that came out, but whichever one it was. There's just like a moment where all the music like cuts out and it's like dark for a second. And then they bring in the scene with Andy grown up, like saying goodbye to his toys and pair it with like this emotional music. And it's like my tears just flow. And Disney just knows how to do that. They know that like pairing that emotional music with that emotional scene is what is going to tug at people's heartstrings. And they do it every single time.
And they do it so well. I mean, there really is that connection to the music. And so with that, if you guys just want to chat Disney music, like feel free to DM us. If you want to like tell your favorite song, maybe we'll do a little story the day this comes out and kind of hear some people's thoughts on Disney music and what has the better Disney music. But thank you guys so much for listening and following along on our journey. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts or listening on Apple Podcasts, feel free, if you have time, to leave us a little review. That really helps us just kind of get out there and get more exposure to other people. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing that, that would be absolutely incredible. I think most of our listeners are actually on Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening to this right now, like feel free to just be like 5 stars if you think.
They're really cool. I like listening to them.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, exactly. Just copy what Em said, and then that would help out so much. But
thank you guys so much for joining in on this conversation. We really enjoyed it. We've got some really fun topics coming up. As I mentioned, we've got holiday stuff coming up, but probably next week we're going to be doing a topic about Disney Plus because Disney Plus Day is coming up. So tune in for that. That's coming up soon.
It's going to be great.
And we'll see you guys then. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.